Hi everyone and welcome to our how-to series. Today we are going to be discussing how to write titles whenever you write essays, and that's either the titles of books or plays or poems, what have you. The real issue comes down to when do you use italics for a title and when do you use quotation marks. And thankfully this is a pretty easy one. You might require some assistance on a few trickier instances, but for the most part it's fairly straightforward. So you would only use italics for sort of bigger works, by which we mean books, films, the titles of newspapers themselves, not the articles, the titles of whole journals themselves, again, not the articles, the titles of anthologies, things like that. So the rule of thumb is if you can go into, say, a bookstore and buy whatever it is on its own, then you would use italics. So you can go in and say, I would like to buy a copy of The Guardian, because you can say that, that's the whole newspaper title. You can, you can use italics then for that. Or I would like to buy this anthology, the Norton Anthology of Theory and Criticism. I would like to buy a copy of, whatever book, whatever film. If something is too short to be, say, published on its own or sold on its own, then you would put it in quotation marks or inverted commas. It doesn't really matter which one you use. Check the style guide and just make sure that you're consistent. So these are things like individual short poems, say a single song on an album, or a single article in a journal or a book. So I can't go into a bookstore and say, I would like to buy this one article, this one, sort of 3-inch column from an issue of The Guardian. They would not sell that to me on its own. You have to buy the whole thing. So that would be a sign that when you write the title of that specific short article, that would go in inverted commas next to then The Guardian in italics. So that's how that works. Occasionally this can be a little bit confusing. So sometimes if you have a bunch of short plays, which could potentially be sold on their own, but then they're in a combined anthology of an author's greatest works, sometimes students go, oh gosh, how do I cite that? Or say a poem that's actually quite long. So it could either be sold in an anthology or it could be sold on its own. Just feel free to ask us. Those you can be a little bit more flexible on. You can sort of decide if it depends what it actually appears in, if you bought it on your own or in an anthology. But we're just always happy to answer questions about formatting. Please email your lectures anytime. And my contact details are here in case you do want to contact me. So thanks.